So today we will solve this problem called execute asynchronous functions in parallel. So if you see here, there's a function called promise.all and it accepting an argument called function. So this function argument is an array, and in this array there can be many function, and we'll have to execute all the function parallelly, and once all the functions calls are completed, we'll have to send the response in the array and in the same order. And if any of the function calls fails, we'll have to return the error, right? So what we have to do first, we'll have to check how many functions are there to execute. So we'll find the length, right? So we'll just find incomplete function calls. I'll just name it like this, and we'll provide the length of this function dot length. So now we know that we have these incomplete function calls, right? I'll just make it incomplete function call. So we know that if we have three functions call, so we'll have to complete these three functions call, and then only we'll have to return the response, right? Also, we need one result variable. So keep the results in this array so that we can send if once all the functions calls are resolved. Okay. And if you see that it will return a promise, right? Return a new promise called promise. So we'll have to return a new promise, and this promise either will resolve or reject, right? And in this promise, we what we'll do, we will execute each and every function one by one parallelly. So for that we need a for loop. We can use for loop and for each, anything. So I will be using for each loop. So this is a function, this is an array, and I'll be using for each. And this is a function, and I'm passing index as well so that I can store the result in the same order. So if f1, if function is a f1, if I'm calling this function, I want a result of this function. And since we know this function itself is a asynchronous function, if you see here, this is an asynchronous function, right? So we will use the then, and if it has data, we will store this data in the results, right? So results index, we will assign the data. So that means that if any function call is completed, we'll store that result in the results variable, right? And also we'll have to keep track of the incomplete function call, so that if we don't have any functions to complete, we can return the response. So we will decrease this count one by one every time if any function is completed. And also we'll check if incomplete function call is equal 0. That means all the functions are completed, right? And if all the functions are completed, what we will do, we will resolve the result, right? Because all the functions are completed, so we will resolve with the result variable, right? And also if you see that this then function can be sorry, I'll just have to keep in this inside this because it is in the result statement, right? So, and if this function is then, that means it is resolved. And if it is rejecting, then we have an error, right? And in error also we have to reject. So we'll use reject error, right? So that means if this function call is resolved, we are storing the data in result index data, and we are decreasing the incomplete function call, and we are also checking that if incomplete functions calls are equal 0 or not. Okay, so if it is equal to 0, we will resolve and will return the entire result. Otherwise we'll keep continuing with this for each loop, right? And also there is a catch, so that this function, if it is failing, we are catching it and immediately we are rejecting, we are not sending in an array, right? So let's execute this program and check if it is running fine or not. So if you see, all data is passed and successfully running, and all test cases, if you see, are coming correctly, and there's no error. So you can go ahead with this solution, and if you have any doubt, please comment, and or if you have any better solution, please provide your feedback. Thanks for watching.